Welcome. Welcome to this Healthy Edge 4-part series on prepping ahead for a week's worth of dinners. Thank you to our CEO and founder, Amber Teal, for listening to the Healthy Edge community when she asked what they'd like help with the most. The number one answer was prepping one day for a week's worth of dinners. So here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to part one of Help, What's for Dinner? I'm Sherry Erickson, and I'll never forget the challenges I faced as a single mother. Everything from the finances to the food. One of the blessings from these challenging times was that I learned how to create healthy meals on a budget, and it was around those meals that my relationship with my son flourished. That's how Busy Meals on a Budget was born. I know what it takes to not only survive the dinner hour, but to thrive at the dinner table. And I want to pass on that knowledge to others who want to do the same. I dedicate this series to my mom, who let me make whatever I wanted in her kitchen and encouraged me to try new things. What's for dinner? This question isn't going away anytime soon. Every day it gets asked. It might be a whisper in the back of your mind or a shout from your kids. It can cause stress or bring a smile to your face because you're prepared. In about 20 minutes, hungry people are happy people because you've got dinner handled like a boss. I thought it through so you don't have to. If you set aside preconceived notions of what prepping ahead looks like, you'll enjoy this immensely. If you see it as an adventure, where you'll learn new tips, techniques, and recipes along the way, then your attitude is in the right place. If you're open to experiencing what it takes to truly be prepared ahead to serve a great dinner, then you'll be greatly rewarded. Look at these happy people. They are having a great time, and you can too. You might be asking why. Why spend extra time prepping ahead for dinner? That sounds hard. I don't have time. End the cycle of poor dinner choices caused by thinking we don't have time or we think it's hard to eat well. Beware of marketing messages that tell you it's complicated or expensive. Yes, there's an investment of time when prepping ahead. In this case, about 4 hours. It's time well spent as an investment in your health and the health of whoever else eats your food. I'll walk you through this process, and by the time this series is over, you'll be the boss of dinner time. Now, what about healthy takeout food? Don't be fooled. Your budget and your health will take a hit. You might be thinking, how about if I find a good takeout place? Like Whole Foods. They have a great hot food bar with lots of choices. It's all healthy, right? Well, how much will that cost you over time? Are the ingredients of all those items listed somewhere? And if they are, would you read them? Avoiding this dilemma is a good idea, and the only way is to be prepared ahead of time for dinner. If you don't know what you're having for dinner, by the time it's time for dinner, you're more likely to make a poor choice. If this happens occasionally, that's not the end of the world. But if it happens often, or more often than you know is best for you and your family, that's a problem for your food budget and your long-term health. First things first, clean out the pantry, creating your best healthy environment. This is a good place to start. Doing this creates room in your pantry and fridge for what you'll need for this meal plan. Besides creating room, this creates a safe environment where temptation does not exist. Because this is not about willpower or resisting temptation. The key is to create an environment where temptation does not exist, and therefore, willpower and motivation are taken out of the equation. Healthy options equals healthy decisions. Take personal responsibility for the options that exist within your home. The more healthy options there are, the better the choices are that you and your family will make. If it's not in the house, it's much harder to eat it. What do you get rid of? Well, everything in this picture would be just great to get rid of. Soda pop, packaged cookies and crackers and chips, and anything with a Hostess label. Here's what not to do. This cartoon says, I need to start eating more healthy, but first I need to eat all the junk food in the house, so it's not there to tempt me anymore. Please don't eat all the junk food in your house. That's not what I mean by cleaning out the pantry. Rather than that, let's start with checking expiration dates. Check everything that might possibly be expired. Even your spices, some of them do have expiration dates. Many of them won't. So toss ones that look old and tired. And as you buy new ones, take a Sharpie or some other way of labeling and write the date on it so you know if it's coming up on time to toss it in the future. Remove juices. Remember that fruit juice has had all the naturally occurring fiber removed, so it's changed from a low glycemic whole food to a high glycemic drink. If you need juice for recipes, or if you want to add a little juice to your water for flavor, look for juices that only contain water and juice. Avoid juice that contains unwanted additives, preservatives, and artificial sweeteners. You don't need any of that stuff messing with your juice. Then drink up, because we know getting in more water is always a good idea. Fill a pitcher with fresh flavors that work in your favor, such as lemon slices, lime wedges, oranges, cucumber slices even are really good in water. Jazz it up with fresh mint leaves and fresh grated ginger. Always use pure water or mineral water if you like it a little bubbly. Fill it up and keep it in your fridge. As you drink it throughout the week, refill it with more pure water. And after about 5 or 7 days, the fresh items in there are going to be done and you're going to want to start over. So this is a really good thing to do on prep day. So that's once a week and you've got great water for the whole week. Oh, you knew this was coming. Remove sweets. It doesn't matter if they are organic, gluten-free, low-calorie, or low-fat. A sweet is a sweet, and the temptation must be removed. This includes chocolate, cookies, chips, crackers, muffins, pastries, candy, ice cream, anything that is a sweet. Remove processed foods. Again, it doesn't matter if they are organic, gluten-free, low sodium, all natural, low calorie, or low fat. Examples would be anything microwavable, something in a box, anything that's packaged or a frozen meal, a side dish, snacks, even appetizers can come this way and be very processed. Look out for microwave popcorn. It's one of the worst offenders for nasty ingredients. So when in doubt, turn it over, look at the ingredient list. If there's things in there that aren't things that you want in your kitchen, toss them. Remove comfort foods. What are your go-to foods when you are bored, depressed, stressed? You may view these items as relatively healthy, but if they are a trigger for you to overindulge, then they will hold you back. Some examples are cheese, chips, granola, honey, pre-sweetened yogurt, and healthy crackers and pasta. And I say healthy with quotation marks because there are a lot of things that seem healthy, sort of healthy, not so bad. But if they're a temptation for you when you're bored or depressed or stressed, then it's not healthy and it's something you want to clean out as well. You might be thinking, hey Sherry, all my food is gone. What now? Well, now you can stock up on healthier options. And you also have room for the items for the meal plan. Notice the bright colors of these healthy foods, all the colors of the rainbow. Similar colors to the earlier slide of junk food. Isn't that interesting? Our brain responds to these bright colors positively. This shows that healthy food is as appealing as junk food. With the produce on the left, you can make a smoothie. With the nuts and dried fruit on top, you can make your own trail mix. The bowl of oatmeal on the bottom is anything but boring. Here's a real-life example. I have a client who was overwhelmed with the idea of cleaning out her pantry, so she started small. She started with her treat drawer. She knew this drawer was a constant source of temptation. She chose to be brave and tackle it. So we can learn from her. Start small and start somewhere. Be brave and tackle it. This shows exactly what was in the drawer, and my client was brave enough to do something about it. So that little drawer had all those things in it, including all those individually wrapped hard candies on the right. Here's what she chose to keep. The rest she donated to a food drive happening at her place of work. You can also toss out anything you don't want to donate. This is truly empowering. Toss, donate, and celebrate. What do you like to do to celebrate? Maybe downloading a new song out of iTunes, buying yourself the DVD series you've always wanted, going to get your nails done, even paying somebody else to wash your car. All those kinds of things that make you feel great to reward yourself for a job well done. Then own it. If the others in your household are not on board, create separate areas for your food and theirs. Stand strong in your commitment. Be honest about why you are making these changes. Honesty is always the best policy because it's about why you are making these changes. So be bold and courageous and focus on your own health journey. You might also want to label anything that goes with this meal plan so that gremlins don't eat all your carrots and drink all your olive oil. Trust the process. Keep moving forward. Stepping back will keep you where you are. Stepping forward will bring positive change to your life. The choice is always yours. Embrace this process and have fun with it. For those of you ready to take this to the next level, get ready to dig deeper into your fridge, freezer, and pantry. Here is where we explore what's left. You may be shocked to see that the items you view as healthy actually contain some of the ingredients you want to avoid. Check everything that has a label, no matter how sure you are that it is healthy. Here are some ingredients to look for that we want to avoid. Enriched flour. It's high glycemic with no nutrition. It's had all of the nutrition processed out of it. That's why it's called enriched, because about 30 nutrients are removed and something like 5 or 6 nutrients are enriched back in. But because it's so highly processed, it's high glycemic, and so it spikes your blood sugar. Now, it doesn't matter what kind of flour it is. It could be listed as enriched wheat flour, enriched rice flour. It doesn't matter. It's still high glycemic and has no nutrition. Partially hydrogenated oils are trans fats. Be really careful here because packaging allows food manufacturers to say that a product has 0 grams trans fat or that it's trans fat free, when in actuality, when you read the ingredient list, it might show that it has partially hydrogenated oils. Because if they can show that it's a very small amount per serving, they can list it as not being there at all. But that's not true, is it? If it's in it, it's in it. And again, it doesn't matter what kind of oil. It could say partially hydrogenated soybean oil. That does not make it okay. Partially hydrogenated means that it is a trans fat. Artificial colors wreak havoc with our children. And because they mess with our brains, they're not good for adults either. Here is a list of artificial sweeteners. They come by many different names. Sucralose is Splenda. Aspartame is NutraSweet and Equal. Saccharin is Sweet and Low. These next two I have a hard time pronouncing, so I just call them ACE-K and ACE-Potassium. Artificial sweeteners are really hard on many different systems in our body, so it is best to just avoid them. BHA and BHT are preservatives that are banned in other countries. You will find them in breakfast cereals and in the packaging itself, so I suggest you avoid them. MSG is short for monosodium glutamate. What MSG does is excite your taste buds, sending a message to your brain that what you're eating tastes good. It doesn't matter how it actually tastes because your brain is being tricked into thinking it tastes good. So food manufacturers don't have to actually try to make something taste good. They can just add MSG to it. I personally don't want any chemicals messing with my brain, so I avoid MSG, and I suggest you do as well. Sodium nitrate and sodium nitrite is found in cold cuts, hot dogs, bacon, deli meats, things like that, because it's a preservative and it helps those kinds of foods maintain their color and freshness. However, when these two ingredients are mixed with acids, such as your stomach acid, they become carcinogenic. That means they cause cancer. You're going to start seeing, as you're shopping, a lot of these items that will say on the front of the package, nitrate-free, or no sodium nitrates, things like that. You still want to read the ingredient list to make sure that the food manufacturer is telling you the truth. Also, when these items, these ingredients are not in these foods, you need to keep these foods refrigerated. And so when you get them home from the store, you get them in the fridge real quick. All right. I love this quote from Dale Carnegie. Inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, do not sit home and think about it. Go out and get busy. Why am I talking about doubt and fear when all we're doing is cleaning out the pantry? Because this is what holds people back. We doubt this is something we can actually do successfully. We're afraid to see the fridge with all the junk food gone. It looks empty. What will we eat? What will my kids snack on after school? What will my family think about all this? So the fear keeps us frozen. We don't move forward. However, action breeds confidence. Action shows us we can do this. It shows our family that we're serious about this. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just go out to your kitchen and get into action. Here's what's left to do after cleaning out the pantry. Now it's time to clear the counters. If your counters are cluttered and the sink is full of dishes, you'll have a hard time prepping for a week's worth of dinners. Do whatever it takes to clear the clutter and get your space ready. This means any small appliances that you don't need on prep day, you can move them out to the garage, put them in a spare room. I will often even put things on my dining room table to get them out of the way because it's just temporary. I'm going to bring them back in when I'm done. You want to have a really clean slate. It can look something like this. You've made room for greatness. You are ready to create something great. And I think that clear counters equal a clear mind. You can set out what you need. You can get your meal plan ready and have all your instructions. This prevents frustration and confusion. So set yourself up for success. Check the equipment list on page 1 of the handout to see what you'll need for prep day and keep those items handy. If you don't want to have them out on the counter yet, after you've cleaned off your counters, because you're not going to do prep day right that moment, then just make sure they're handy. You know where they are. You know where your knives are. You know where your crock pot is. You know where your 12-inch skillet is. You know where they are. You can get to them easily. Again, this sets you up for success. Food storage options. This is important. Take inventory of what you've got to work with. You might have done this when you were cleaning out the pantry and cleaning out your kitchen because you just came across your food storage options as you were clearing things out. Glass containers and jars are great. You can even save jars and reuse them for a low-cost option, such as pickle jars, relish jars, things like that. All different sizes are great to have for either leftovers or items for pre-prepping your food for the week. Zipper-style freezer bags are great. They can be quart size, they can be gallon size. I try to keep both on hand. Plastic containers are fine, preferably BPA free. And then masking tape and a Sharpie for labeling. This is really important. I keep these in my kitchen all the time. It's great for labeling leftovers as well as items for your meal plan. You might even want to get a different color for your meal plan items because masking tape does come in different colors, which is kind of cool. If you're not sure what kind of containers you want to invest in, if you don't have enough to get started with, I advise starting out with quart-size freezer bags. These work for almost everything. They don't take up much space, and you can write on them easily with a Sharpie. Are we making something today? Sure. Make the salad dressing from page 3 of the handout because you probably threw out your old ones when cleaning out your fridge. Because honestly, salad dressing has some of the nastiest ingredients in the world of processed foods. So here's a few notes about salad dressing. It's one of those kitchen staples that can easily be homemade, which saves you time and money and keeps you from those unhealthy ingredients. On page 3 of the handout is a basic vinaigrette recipe. It's a great one to get you started with. The Healthy Edge online recipes also have a few specific recipes. The one that I give you is a basic recipe where you can choose what kind of vinegar you want, or maybe you want to use a lemon juice or lime juice instead of a vinegar. And you can use Dijon mustard, a little salt, a little pepper. I like olive oil, but you could use grapeseed oil, avocado oil. It's up to you. I took this picture and it was all the items I had in my kitchen that I could possibly use for salad dressing at the time that I was taking this picture. This is what I had. So these are pantry staples for me. I might not always have fresh limes. Most of the time I have fresh lemons. The others are items that keep really well in the fridge and the cupboard. So you're going to have an oil, you're going to have an acid, which is your vinegar or your citrus juice, always salt and pepper. The mustard is optional, but here's the deal. The purpose of Dijon mustard isn't just for flavor. It's a natural emulsifier that helps the oil and vinegar mix and stay mixed for a while. You'll want to shake it up or whisk it again if it's begun to separate. If you make a big batch to last a while, be sure to get it out of the fridge about 20 minutes before serving so it can come to room temperature and the oil can become liquid again, because you'll notice that most oils become thick and cloudy when they get cold. That's not bad. Nothing bad is happening. They're just cold. And so you get them out before dinner and they come to room temperature again, and you can shake them up or whisk them up and they're good to go for serving. So a good time to do that is when you begin your dinner prep each night. And with this meal plan, you're going to have about 20 minutes until dinner time. So it's perfect. And homemade dressing keeps really well in glass jars. Again, that's another great reason to save glass jars from food that you've bought to use for salad dressing. And that way you can have like a couple different ones, or however you want to do it. You could get really creative and experiment with a few different ones and see what you like the best. And just label your jars with your masking tape and your Sharpie, and you're good to go. The citrus juice or the vinegar, whichever you've used, is a natural preservative, so you can make a big batch. And the dressing will last 2 to 3 weeks in your refrigerator. And feel free to jazz it up with things like fresh pressed garlic, shallots, onion, whatever you've got in your pantry. Oh, and it's also great as a marinade or a sauce. So it's really versatile. Making homemade dressing is just, like I said, a really great way to save some money. What's next? Well, you're going to want to read through the entire meal plan handout so you can schedule it into your calendar. Prep day is the biggest commitment, and there are smaller commitments along the way. You want to know what those are ahead of time and have them in your schedule. This sets you up for success. Use something to note what's for dinner every day, like this blank meal plan sheet from the Healthy Edge. It even has a place to note what you need on your next shopping trip, like if you run out of mustard. You can write it down on this sheet, really easy. Even something as simple as a big Post-it note stuck on your fridge will work. So whatever works for you. Be sure and check the pantry list on page 4 of the handout and add anything you need to the shopping list, which is also on page 4. Determine what additional food storage options you want and get them right away or add them to your shopping list. This is a great time to decide if you want to get maybe just a box of the zipper style freezer bags. I like the quart size ones. You can get those at most grocery stores. Using this Prep Ahead meal plan saves you time every day while helping you serve a healthy, whole food, delicious meal. The goal is to reduce the stress of the dreaded "what's for dinner" question and eliminate the drive-through, takeout dinner temptation. I'm Sherry Erickson, and I'm excited to show you how to make a busy meal on a budget. See you next time. Thank you to the Healthy Edge Company and community for making this series possible. I'll see you next week for part 2, Shopping and Prep Day.